It's just before 7 o'clock on Sunday morning, and last night it choked it down again. Loads of rain, big thunder, big lightning, everything's going green. Look at that lawn. Well, I woke up this morning and there was a song going through my mind, or just a line of a song, and I was thinking about it, and it was from a 1940 film, and the film was The Thief of Baghdad. It's a film in colour, which is good for the day, and it starred Sabu, the Indian actor, and I don't know who the other people was that it starred, but it was based on the Arabian Nights. It had genies in bottles, and it had flying carpets, and it had flying horses, and an evil magician, and a beautiful princess. All the stuff that makes a damn good movie. Anyway, it got me thinking, and I'm thinking, if you found the bottle or the magic lamp, and out pops a genie, and you get the 3 wishes, I'll ask you what they were, most people would go health, wealth and happiness, I would imagine. Well, I can imagine, yeah, it would be health, wealth and happiness would be tremendous. But if I had that one wish, my one wish would be a simple one, and I'd say to the genie, I want you to get David Cameron, Blinken, Biden, Sunak, Starmer, all these politicians who are supporting these wars and making these wars. I get the genie to transport them instantly in military uniform with a rifle in the hand in the trenches in Ukraine. Oh, and let's make a rule that if you're going to create a war, that your children and your loved ones have got to be the first ones drafted. Now, there'd be no more wars, would there? No, there wouldn't, because it's really easy to send other people's kids to die. And when I was young, I was brought up in back-to-back terraced houses in the northwest of England. Two bedrooms upstairs and 2 rooms downstairs. Poor. My dad was a miner. My mum didn't work. Well, she did work, obviously, as a mum, but didn't go out to earn money. In these rows of terrace houses, there was lots of old ladies living on their own, and to me as a kid, it just seemed natural, every day. Didn't realise that they were victims of the war, just as much as the men had been killed. The men who hadn't come back. And I mean, one of the Lancashire regiments in the First World War on the Somme, they went over the top and they lost 20,000 men in a day. 20,000 men in a day. And that doesn't count the ones who were severely injured and who would never have a full life again, or traumatised. No, it would have to be that the politicians would be first in the line. I mean, David Cameron this week, he said, oh well, you know, Britain's going to send these Storm Shadow missiles to Ukraine, and it's okay, Ukraine can use them as it wants to use them. So in other words, if Ukraine wants to fire them at Russia, i.e. Russian territory, it's okay. And Putin responded and said, if that happens, then we are going to count Britain as a belligerent, and we reserve the right then to strike any British military target in any country in the world, including Britain. Now this is a slippery slope, isn't it? I mean, they seem... I have to ask, it seems that they're hell-bent on taking us to World War III. Now, if there's a World War III, there's no World War IV. We're all knackered. And or is it? Is it that it's part of a greater plan? Part of the greater plan to frighten us all to death, that we will accept a huge change in world rule or world government. We know that they're trying to push us all into these 15-minute cities and all this climate change nonsense. All this climate change nonsense. And but yet they all jet off to the climate conference in the private jets. That'd be another one for the Genie. Get all those private jets, scrap them all, and give them all bicycles. I mean, are we talking about that little Macron? He's another one who wants a good smack round the head with a wet kipper. Macron, Trudeau, Ursula von der Leyen, Klaus Schwab. They want to kick in the bollocks. Well, you can't kick Ursula von der Leyen in the bollocks because she hasn't got any. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. They're playing with our lives. Doesn't matter to me at my age. I'm on the final furlong. You know, I've had a pretty knockout life and I've done nearly everything I've wanted to do. And I've been retired here for 10 years in absolute bliss and harmony. But then you look at, you know, little boy, little Otto, or Mark, or Anne, and just started out in life, and yeah, Dido, and all the kids of the world. And for the Genie as well, I'd get the Genie to transport the entire of the Israeli war cabinet, Netanyahu, and drop them in the middle of Gaza when the Israelis are dropping bombs. Let's see how they like that. I'm not taking sides between Russia and Ukraine, although we all know whose fault it is. It's NATO's fault, not Russia's fault. NATO have been pushing and pushing and pushing Russia ever since the fall of the Berlin Wall. They agreed that they wouldn't go any further east and take any of the former Soviet countries into NATO, and they've gone and taken them all. How do you know when a politician's lying? You're right, his lips are moving. I'm not taking sides between Gaza and Israel, although the bombing and shooting and starving for 7 months now of people shooting fish in a barrel who can't get away. And what's it all about? It's not about October the 7th. It's about they don't want the Gaza Strip there. The Zionists want it for themselves. The vast oil and gas deposits that are in the Med just off Gaza, that's in the Gaza territorial waters, or the Palestine territorial waters. And it's all about brass, isn't it? Follow the money. Every time, follow the money. And I would urge you all, elections this year, do not vote red or blue. Because nothing changes. The two cheeks of the same ass. The two-party system, or politics in general, is broken. It's broken. It's just not fit for purpose. I mean, what would happen if everybody in Britain, everybody in Britain sent a letter to the government and said, we who have the power, the sovereign power, because it's the people that have the power, we only lend it to the governments that we elect in for 4 years or 5 years or whatever the case may be. We forbid you to send any more money to Ukraine. We forbid you to send troops to Ukraine. We forbid you in supplying weapons to Ukraine. We instruct you to find a peaceful solution. Because don't forget, Russia and Ukraine had a peace treaty right at the beginning. And it was Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, on the behest of the Americans, who went to see Zelensky and said, no, don't sign this, we've got your back, don't you worry about it, pal. It's obscene, isn't it? It's absolutely obscene. Life's difficult enough, isn't it? Trying to make a living, bringing up your kids, grandkids, supporting your football team, voting for X Factor, you know what I mean. Tractor going off, maybe going off to do some ploughing. There's bits of water lodged into the ends of the paddies. And if we get another couple of days rain like we've had yesterday and last night, the bullfrogs will be singing, they'll be giving it large. And then everybody will be out there, well, all the ties will be out there with little miner's lamps on their heads and a cane with a plastic bottle on the end, which is how they catch the bullfrogs. And they'll all be feasting on bullfrog soup. Over there, you probably can't see it, there's a cow out. That was broken its tether or escaped. And we'll go and we'll feed the fish and we'll set the aquaponics running. I need to strip the bulk of the aquaponics out now because it's finished. It needs replanting again. The butternut squash is still going. You know, they don't have like these mealworms, and they're not supposed to eat them because these are tilapia, and tilapia are herbivores. But they do. And since I've been feeding them the mealworms, Even that I've bounced on him in size. They get the pellets as well as the worms, and they get some vegetation because they do eat vegetation, tilapia. Well, do you know, through all the hot and through all the burning and the pollution that we had, it seemed like a lifetime away to get back to this. I mean, you can see over in the mountains over there the low clouds caused by the last night's rain evaporating off. Time Ferrari going back to the village. They've been working this morning before it came light in the cool, and it was cool this morning. There's a tree that had blown down. Our nephew's got the chainsaw out and cut it all up. Good lads, very polite, do what you ask them when you ask them. We look after them, and me and I have no children, so when we peg it, then they're going to get this place, aren't they, and everything that's left. And my tools will be scattered to the four winds. The bougainvillea may cut that back right to the floor. And some vines growing up. Well, that's me. See you in another day, so bye bye for now.